Hello everyone and welcome to the Void Between Reality and the Land of Heckin' Nerds. My name is Brian, aka He of the Void, and today we are going to be taking a look at the War for Cybertron Trilogy's Kingdom Deluxe Class Airrazor. And giving you a look at this figure today because I'm gauging interest for a potential top 10 video. I want to do a top 10 video on the Transformers that stole the show. What I mean by that is a figure that when it was announced didn't get the biggest amount of fanfare or just was kind of left out because the people were more interested in other toys at the time. And when Kingdom came out and it was announced that it was going to be mostly focused around the Beastformers from the beloved cartoon Beast Wars, I think everyone got really excited for new Predacons, for new figures of the core Maximals, your Optimus Primals, your Cheetors, your Rat Traps, Rhinoxes, all of that stuff. And I think Airrazor here was just, oh, we're getting an Airrazor figure. Okay, cool. More interested in Cheetor or Optimus Primal, but okay, cool. Airrazor. And then Airrazor came out and completely stole the thunder from all of the other different Transformers at the time. I got all of the core Maximal figures because I thought I was going to enjoy them a lot more than Airrazor. I ended up getting Airrazor on a lark, and lo and behold, Airrazor completely took everything from all of those other toys. There's a lot to like here, from the molding, the painting, the head sculpts. It's got pretty good posability for a deluxe. And a lot of that is due to transformation because of the way it transforms. But she can get into a wide variety of poses. And honestly, when I got her and I started playing around with her, I'm like, damn if this isn't better than the Primal they released. Dang if this isn't better than Cheetor and Rhinox. Cheetor especially, because that figure broke on me. And unfortunately, this is actually my second version of Airrazor. The first one did break on me on the wings, but that was my fault because I thought the wings went a certain way and they actually didn't. So, just be careful of what you do with the wings. They look like they might go a certain way, but they may not. But yeah, first of all, we will give you Airrazor. Stand up. Proud Maximal, stand up. We will give you the customary look at that noggin. And yeah, that's Airrazor's head from the show. Very nice. Do love the feather details. I like the purple face and the green eyes. So yeah, it's decent head sculpt. Pretty good head sculpt. Head sculpt is good. Good head sculpt. And now we'll go into posability. Oh, first, I'll just show you. I usually leave the accessories attached, but and then put them on, but I forgot to do that. She does have her little arrow launchers, and those are picked out in some nice gold paint. Do appreciate that. And like I said, she is pretty dang posable. So rotation at the shoulders. Sometimes it bumps into the kibble, but you can kind of move that out of the way just to get the full 360. Pretty deep bend at the elbow. And then you get another bend at the wrist, so you can get her into some pretty good, punching poses and whatnot. You do have to move part of the kibble out, this little back piece here, but then she can do a full 360 on the waist swivel. She can do the splits with a hinge at the hips, can kick back that far, kick forward that far. She's got a very deep bend at the knee. And that, again, most of the bends and the joints on here are to facilitate the transformation, but they also just lead into having a really posable figure. And she has a hinge at the calf, and her ankles are on a ball joint, so they can move around quite a bit. So yeah, she's very, very posable. Oh, and the wings can move out and back and whatnot, and we'll show that more as we get into transformation. So first things first, we're gonna, or speaking of transformation, we will unpeg her little arm cannons. Then we're gonna come to the back and unpeg that, and that will allow us to get here and raise the torso up onto a hinge, and then the wings will just kind of settle in there. Oh, first we have to take the head, flip the head. Oh, I'm forgetting something. No, there we go. We move the head in like so, and then we can plug in the wings. Hold on. Oh yeah, forgot. You have to swing them up a little bit, and then you can peg that in there. So you have that. Then you're going to take the arms, and you're going to fold them down, and then you're going to take this hinge and fold that in, and that will slide. Reason you don't want to stay in? Oh, there we go. Those will slide in, and there's a little notch there that's going to just peg in right there. And sometimes the head does like to come unpegged, but that can easily go back in. And then we'll just do the same on the other side and peg that in like so. Sometimes a little easier said than done. You just kind of got to cajole it a little bit. Like that. Make sure these shoulder panels are in. Then we're going to take the waist, fold that around. Then we're going to take this part, or the hip, and fold that up. And there's a little peg here that's going to go into a slot on the leg. And then swing that around like so. And then do the same on the other side. Swing the hip up. Peg that. Am I doing that wrong? There we go. Peg that in, and then just bring the toes or the legs down on those hinges like that, and then turn her feet around. And there you go. There you have her. Oh, and splay out the wings. And there you have her in her bird mode. And it's not a bad bird mode. It's not as great as the robot mode was, or is, but it does the job. There's some nice feather detail. I do like the head. If you reach in, you can get it to open, or the mouth to open, but it's a little difficult because of how small that piece is. But yeah, and you can get her into some various poses. You can bring in her wings like that and have her in sort of a closed wing form. And by the way, the arrow launchers will just peg in to the hips like so. And yeah, it's a good, there's a little bit of kibble on the underside, but again, with beast modes, or beast formers, you have to understand that the way the thing is engineered, there's gonna be some kibble. You're gonna have some kibble and bits. And that is because unlike a car form or a truck or something like that, where they have panels that can cement and cover things, a beast is not a symmetrical form. So you're going to have kibble and bits. You just kind of have to deal with it as I kick the camera. But yeah, it's a good beast mode. I do like the beast mode. It's a darn good beast mode. So to get her back into robot mode, we're just going to come down and unpeg the air launchers. Then we're going to come and straighten out her legs and turn the feet around. Then we're going to collapse the wings and just move them back on these double hinges like so. Then we're going to take the arms and just splay them out. And that's going to help us get in here and unpeg the backpack. Sometimes a little easier said than done. Sometimes it likes to stay in a little bit too securely. There we go. And we'll pull that out. Then we will swing the head out on this hinge like Ooh, and knock the head clean off the figure. Oh, that's funny. We'll just, just bolt the figure clean, or bolt the head clean off. So once you've done that, that's a critical step, by the way. You're actually supposed to do that. Before we put the chest all the way down, we will bring it forward on those hinges back there. Sometimes it takes a little cajoling to get this all the way down. Oh, and turn her waist around and just turn the calves around, or the legs around like that. And then we'll just straighten out the arms like so. And then we can plug her arrow launchers onto her arms. You can have them in the fists, but the way she holds them in the show is on her arms. And there you go. There you have your Kingdom Airrazor back in her robot mode. Final thoughts on the figure. Fantastic figure. Honestly, like I said, completely stole the show away from Cheetor and Optimus and a lot of the other figures that came out in Kingdom, especially in the first wave of figures, which is where you got your Optimus Primals and your Megatrons and all of that. She completely stole the show. Just an absolutely fantastic figure. A great mold. This mold has been repainted and remolded several different times into all sorts of different characters and figure in molds and whatnot. She was remolded into Pterosaur. She was upscaled and remolded into Airrazor from Rise of the Beasts. And she's also was repainted into Filch from the Star Raiders. And I am looking for that figure because I want every version of this mold. There were actually two Pterosaurs. There was one that was in a multi-pack, I believe, and then there was one that was released in the Buzzworthy Bumblebee subline that was at Target. But you know, from 4 or 5 different remolds, I think you guys can tell that this is a much beloved figure and a much beloved mold. Oh, and make sure you put her little shoulder pads up. Forgot about that. But yeah, if you can find this figure or any version of the figure, like if you can find Filch right now, because I have started to see them trickle, or people have said they have started to trickle into Walmarts, pick up a version of this mold. If you can find the Kingdom version, grab her. If you can find the Studio Series version, which we will take a look at eventually, which is more of an upscaled version of this. I think it was either a Voyager, it was a Deluxe actually, but they sort of embiggened her to give her more room, I guess. You know, I don't know why they didn't just copy this figure at the size, but oh well, you know, ask Hasbro, their will is unknowable. But yeah, highest recommendations. Find a version of this figure for your collection. She is absolutely worth it. And I just felt like this is one of those figures that I thought I was going to like it. I didn't expect to fall in love with it. And by the way, also in the comments, let me know if you're interested in seeing that top 10 show stealer Transformers, because I'd love to make that list, because I have a number of figures that really kind of took the show in the spotlight from a lot of other different figures, or even from entire lines. There's one I definitely want to show you from Siege that honestly didn't just steal the spotlight, but stole my heart. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I am asking you to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out all my links down below for all the places you can find me and support me. And yeah, remember, growing old is mandatory. Growing up is optional. Be curious, be playful, and above all else, be kind. And I will see you next time.